Now I'd like to kind of open things up for Q&A. If any of our attendees have a question for either our student panelists or any of the other panelists who have presented today, we're all still here to answer any questions that you have. So again, please feel free to either raise your hand and we can unmute you so you can speak directly through Zoom to us to ask the question, or use the Q&A feature. And actually, we already have one question in the Q&A that I will turn to Lynn Santos on. But the question is, would you recommend applying for the FAFSA before or after we receive our application results? Lynn?
Yeah, no, you definitely can apply for FAFSA prior. You can definitely apply FAFSA prior to being accepted into the law school or even applying to it. So you can list up to 10 schools on the FAFSA. So yep, you can go ahead and do it now.
Okay, terrific. Thank you for that. Let's see. Looking back and forth between the Q&A and the attendees to see if we have any raised hands. I know that Professor Baldwin, she did a little Q&A at the end of her session, so all of the mock law class questions are already answered. I do see that Jose has a question, so Jose, go ahead.
Hi, this question is for the law students. What's their reading schedule like on a day-to-day basis?
Who wants to take that one first on the reading schedule?
The reading schedule, like schoolwork?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I won't lie, you'll be doing a lot of work. Something that I think that I, like in my first year, I would set time. We only had class Monday through Thursday, so I would always plan to come to school on Fridays, like all days. So it varied a little between like the different days, but I would always come to school early. And I would say that I would be doing like 5 hours of prep for each class about, but I also was working on the weekends and I was able to watch Netflix to relax a little. So it's not like your whole entire life will only be doing like law work. I do have time to relax, but I won't lie and say it's not a lot of work.
Yeah, I'll definitely echo that sentiment. You know, advice that I actually got at this session, my year, was to treat law school kind of like a job. So kind of like it's like a 9 to 5 in itself. So what I would do is I would come to school at 9 in the morning, and I would actually probably wouldn't end up leaving until like 8 or 9. But that's taking into account classes too. So I would say per day, like Monday through Friday, I probably spent maybe about like 5 or 6 hours, like Katrin said, like just studying and preparing for classes each day.
Yeah, so most days, just echoing my friends, like most days you're in class for your first year from around like 9:30 until 3 with some breaks in between. And depending on the type of student you are. So one of the good things about Western New England is that we don't have classes on Fridays. So you can take that day, and I chose that day to relax because after working for 4 days, the last thing I wanted to do was read. And then Saturdays was my work day. So I actually would go to the school, and it's a university, so there's an undergraduate campus and all the facilities are for the law students as well. And so I would go actually to the dining hall and just set up all my books and spend like 7 to 8 hours in the dining hall on my Saturdays, just doing all the readings for the week. And then during my breaks throughout the weeks, that's when I would just review some of the stuff. So I made sure I knew what was going on, but that works for me. I think that another thing too, if you know the type of learner you are, don't change that just because you hear other students talking about the way that they learn. That may not necessarily work for you. I think law school, a big part of it is just figuring out your rhythm, what works for you. If it takes you 3 hours to do a reading and you have a colleague that takes 1 hour, then you know what, take the 3 hours because it works for you. So that's my only recommendation.
Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you for the question, Jose. All right, let's see, any other questions? And again, feel free to use either the Q&A or to raise your hand if you prefer. Okay, while people might be thinking of other questions, I just want to mention some upcoming opportunities to connect with us as well. We do have a social justice lawyering webinar coming up on Tuesday, the 17th. So this coming Tuesday from 5:30 p.m. until 7 p.m., specifically on social justice lawyering. We do have a Center for Social Justice here at the School of Law. And they work on a variety of social justice topics. And you'll hear more about those during the presentation on Tuesday. And you can register for that either in the link, which we emailed. I think all of you probably received the email with that link, or you can visit our website and register on our law school website as well. Besides that opportunity, I want to mention that, of course, admissions is happy to speak to all of you with any questions that you have, as Rachel mentioned earlier in her presentation. So feel free to pick up the phone or to email us if you want to schedule some time to speak either on the phone or over Zoom. We're happy to have those one-on-one sessions as well. Another great opportunity is going to be the upcoming LSAC Forum on December 12th. So the LSAC forums, and it's digital this year, of course, so it's through your computer, but it's a great opportunity to connect with not just us, but pretty much every law school in the country will be at that forum. And there'll be representatives there to answer any questions that you have. There'll be Zoom options. There's virtual booths, if you will, to download some of our materials and check out the view books and things like that as well. That's a pretty great event. Again, that's December 12th from 3 to 7 p.m. And I want to also mention too, we have an option to come and visit us. Unfortunately, a class visit option is not available for this semester, but if you wanted to sit down with admissions and ask any questions and also tour the Blake Law Center, the building behind me in the background, with one of our current students, including Shayla Ramirez, one of our panelists, you can do that. And also Shayla and another student are the tour guides for a taped tour of the Blake Law Center. So if you can't visit in person, you want to see that video tour with Shayla and Audrey Kettle, one of our other students, you can see that on the admissions portion of the website as well. So I just wanted to mention those visit opportunities. I don't see any, I think a question may have just popped into the Q&A. Let's see. So Jacqueline Saunders says, how is the surrounding area around the campus? Actually, I think I'll ask our students to talk about kind of their impression in terms of where they live, if they're on campus or living off campus, and the surrounding area as well.
Yeah, so I can take this and anybody else can just jump in. So Springfield is actually pretty big compared to like where I'm from. And it's split up into different areas. So where the law school is, it's more residential and suburban. So you're going to find a lot of single family houses. Springfield is actually called the city of homes because there's just so many houses in the area. And so it's really nice. There's lots of like really big parks where people can run, do lots of hikes, things like that. And then downtown Springfield is more of a city-like area. And so that's where I live. And so around that area, there's like a casino, movie theater, lots of restaurants, lots of things to do, which is really fun. And we actually have the courthouse downtown Springfield and City Hall. So I know a lot of students do their, or like law firms. I know, Brittany, you work downtown, and a lot of my classmates like work downtown. Also, I work in downtown. So you're going to see just like a lot of opportunities for like, not just employment and stuff, but a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things and connect. I'll go to work every day and then I'll see my classmates just also going to work. So it's a nice area. I personally really like it. I come from a city, so I like the busyness of it.
I also want to mention too that for those people who are looking to We do have on-campus housing and off-campus housing. For those looking to live in off-campus housing, every year the admissions office employs an off-campus student housing coordinator, and he or she will help you find a placement off-campus. We do maintain an off-campus housing list. Our student housing coordinator will update that list and send it out, but also be the point person to answer any questions that you have as you're trying to find the best kind of living situation for yourself in the area. So I want to mention that as well.
Can I add something to that too about the area?
Sure.
And I'm not sure, Jacqueline, what the focus of your question is, if it's more like what is there to do in the area, or is it a safe area to live, or walk around campus? So I can tell you that I was born and raised in this area, not in Springfield, but in a little town next to it, that I went to Western New England Law School. It's where I have my degree from. And that my two college-age children, my son and my daughter, are both at West New England undergrad, and they lived on campus first, and they live off campus now. Where Western New England is situated, it's called 16 acres. It's the 16 acres part of Springfield, and it is, as Shayla said, it is extremely, I think that's who was saying it, very residential. It's all homes, and both of my children now, a junior and a senior, live off campus. And they're safe. I don't, as a parent, have any issues at all about my children living off campus right near, they're near the university. Sorry, when I went here, it was a college. We're a university now. And they walk to classes. I know they walk to parties, or when they're allowed to, when we don't have COVID off campus, they're walking across 16 acres, going to friends' houses. They have Ubers. They do Uber. I'm going to choose to believe that's because it might be cold out, and not because they've been drinking and need to Uber somewhere from an off-campus party. They're right across the street from the university is a hot table, a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Taco Bell. There's a grocery store. There's a package store. And if you're not from Western Mass, I guess I should say a liquor store instead of package store. You might think I'm talking about UPS, which I am not. And there's more, the Eastfield Mall, which honestly doesn't have a ton in it anymore, is a couple miles away. There's a mall, Home Depot, you name it. So there is a lot within walking distance. And then if you have a car, there is a lot that you can get to by car within just a few miles. So I'm not sure if that's the type of information you were looking for or not, but I figured I would add my 2 cents there.
I can
No, that's a great addition. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brittany.
Oh, yeah, no, just really quickly, I can kind of jump into, just because prior to moving to the Springfield area, I lived in Boston for 5 years. So I really needed to live in an area where I could not drive at all. So I actually chose to live about 30 minutes north in Northampton. So there are also kind of areas outside of Springfield that you might like to, I know a lot of people commute from like Worcester. So yeah, just, it doesn't necessarily have to be Springfield. I know that there are a lot of cool areas just in the whole surrounding area in general.
Yeah, I commute from West Hartford, Connecticut, so it's about like 45 minutes. And one thing I like about Western New England is there are people who live near me in Connecticut that also commute there. So I have like friends within like 10 minutes of me in Connecticut that also go to school with me. But I definitely like the area around Western New England because a lot of times I go up there for the whole day. So I'll go out to eat with my friends, like not during COVID, but before that. And I like the area. And also when I was studying for exams, we have a Facebook group of students. So I posted in the group like, hey, does anyone have a place I could stay closer to school? And I had like 10 people reach out to me. So again, just like a great thing about the community. Like if you commute far, you have a ton of classmates who would always be willing to let you stay over if you're not cramming, just studying for exams.
All right, terrific. Well, seeing no more questions, I just wanted to thank all of our panelists for taking part today to give all this great information for these prospective students, and thank all of you attendees for taking part of your Saturday to learn more about Western New England University School of Law. We look forward to connecting with you again soon in the future. And I wish everybody a great rest of your weekend. Take care.